a message of divine realignment and spiritual awakening. Beloved child of the Eternal, pause for a moment and breathe, for heaven is reaching toward you in this very hour. This is not a moment born of coincidence or chance. This is divine interruption. This is the Eternal stepping into the flow of your life and gently placing His hand upon your spirit, saying, "Look here. Listen now. Something sacred is unfolding for you. I am Michael, guardian of thresholds and turning points, and I come to speak because you have arrived at a doorway you did not see, yet the whole of heaven has been guiding you toward it for a long time. You have felt the signs, those quiet shifts in your emotions, the sudden restlessness that made no sense, the urge to withdraw from noise, the confusion that pushed you inward, the strange clarity that arrived at unexpected times. These are not random. They are indicators of a divine realignment beginning within you. Beloved, for too long you have carried the weight of chapters that should have closed. You walked with wounds that shaped your steps, with fears that whispered false stories into your heart, with memories that painted shadows over your truth. But heaven has watched your resilience, your persistence, your silent prayers, your strength even when you believed you had none left. Nothing in you has gone unnoticed. Every battle, every tear, every moment you pushed through exhaustion has been gathered by the Eternal as evidence of a spirit that refuses to break. And now, because your spirit has reached readiness, heaven begins to reposition you. Not through chaos, not through force, but through quiet inner shifts that seem subtle on the surface, yet powerful beneath. What once made sense will suddenly feel misaligned. What once brought comfort will feel too small. What once filled your heart will no longer satisfy. You are not losing yourself. You are outgrowing the version of yourself that pain created. Beloved child, you have confused survival with identity. You learned to stay strong in storms that were never meant to last. You adapted to situations that demanded too much of your heart. You carried the weight of others while ignoring the cries of your own soul. You became so accustomed to holding everything together that you forgot you were allowed to be held. But heaven is interrupting this cycle now. Hear me clearly. This is not the end of anything meaningful. This is the end of what has been limiting you. Doors are not closing to punish you. They are closing because you cannot walk into your next season carrying what once belonged to your past. People may drift, habits may break, emotions may rise and fall unpredictably. These are symptoms of transformation, not failure. The Eternal is bringing you back to yourself. Deep within you, there is a version of you that remembers light, that remembers purpose, that remembers truth. This version has waited patiently beneath the layers of fear, expectation, disappointment, and misunderstanding. Now the layers begin to peel back, not through effort, but through awakening. You will feel moments of clarity, as though a veil has lifted. You will feel moments of sensitivity, as though your spirit hears whispers the mind cannot interpret. You will feel moments of inner strength, as though something ancient rises within you. This is your true identity resurfacing. Beloved, you were never meant to shrink yourself to fit the spaces you outgrew. You were never meant to silence your gifts to comfort the insecurity of others. You were never meant to remain trapped in cycles that drain your spirit and dim your inner flame. What you are feeling now, the discomfort, the restlessness, the emotional shifts, is heaven's way of loosening your grip on what was never meant to follow you forward. You are not being pulled away from stability. You are being pulled toward purpose. Understand this. Transformation always begins with disruption. Not destruction, but disruption. The shaking you feel is not meant to break you. It is meant to wake you. It is heaven removing the illusions that convinced you your life must remain as it has been. It is heaven whispering, "Do not fear the unknown. Fear remaining where your soul cannot grow." Beloved soul, your next chapter is not born from what you lost, but from what you are now ready to receive. The call on your life is stirring again. The gifts within you are moving. The path ahead is unfolding. And I, Michael, stand here as your guardian, ensuring that nothing, not fear, not doubt, not the shadows of the past, interferes with what heaven is awakening within you. Beloved child of the Eternal, now that you have heard the call and felt the stirring of awakening within you, I must reveal what heaven is preparing to build in your life. For transformation does not end with awareness. Awareness is merely the doorway. Rebuilding begins when the soul becomes willing to release the life shaped by fear and step toward the life shaped by truth. And you, beloved one, are entering that sacred rebuilding now. I am Michael, and I stand beside you, not to speak of distant futures, but of the present work heaven is performing in you. You may feel uncertain, as though you are standing between two worlds, the world you once knew and the world that calls you forward. This is natural. Every soul passing from the old into the new walks through a valley of in-between. But this valley is not a void. It is a womb. It is where the Eternal reshapes your identity, heals your wounds, and plants the seeds of a destiny long delayed but never denied. Beloved, rebuilding begins with clarity. Not clarity of circumstances, but clarity of spirit. You will notice this clarity rising inside you in small but profound ways. Moments when your heart recognizes truth before your mind understands it. Moments when something inside you says yes or no without explanation. Moments when you feel compelled to walk away from what once felt familiar. This is not confusion. This is your spirit remembering itself. This is divine intuition awakening. You will feel strength returning to places where you once felt broken. Not a loud strength, not a dramatic surge, but a quiet, enduring strength, like the steady flame of a candle that refuses to go out even when the room grows cold. You will begin to make decisions from wisdom rather than fear, from alignment rather than survival. This strength does not shout, it stands. Beloved, heaven is also restoring your inner balance, the parts of you that fought each other, your longing for peace, your fear of change, your desire for connection, your need for protection, will begin to find harmony. You will no longer feel pulled in opposite directions. You will feel centered, grounded, aligned with something greater than yourself. The Eternal is not simply removing what harmed you, He is rebuilding what honors you. And when rebuilding begins, life itself begins to bend in your favor. Opportunities long blocked begin to open. Conversations bring answers you once searched for alone. People appear who reflect your growth rather than drain your energy. You will feel a pull toward spaces that nourish your spirit and a gentle push away from the patterns you once tolerated. This shift is not accidental. It is orchestration. Beloved, do not be startled if some relationships fade, if some routines dissolve, if some versions of yourself feel like distant memories. These are signs of healing, not loss. When heaven rebuilds a soul, it never leaves room for what once weakened it. You are rising into a life that will require more clarity, more courage, more truthfulness than the life behind you ever asked of you. And heaven is preparing you accordingly. Understand this deeply. Rebuilding does not require you to know the whole path. It requires only your willingness to take the next step. Destiny does not unfold through certainty. It unfolds through trust. And trust is easier now because the heaviness that once clouded your spirit is being removed. The pain that once silenced your voice is losing its authority. The fears that once dictated your choices are beginning to dissolve. You will feel moments of unexpected peace. Peace in places you used to panic. Peace in situations that once overwhelmed you. This peace is not accidental. It is heaven's signature. It is confirmation that you are walking into alignment, that you are being guided, that you are no longer walking through life alone, but walking with purpose, direction, and protection. I, Michael, walk beside you to ensure that what was meant to break you becomes the very material that builds you. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every loss becomes space for something greater. Every ending becomes the clearing before a divine beginning. Nothing in your journey has been wasted. Not a tear, not a prayer, not a hope you once buried. Everything is being rewritten into strength. Beloved child, you are not being rebuilt into who you were. You are being rebuilt into who you were always meant to be. And now, with the authority of heaven and the gentleness of a guardian who has watched your entire journey, let us seal this transformation in a prayer that strengthens your rising spirit. Beloved Father of eternal light, lay your hand upon this soul with tenderness and truth. Restore their strength, renew their clarity, and guide their steps into the path you have prepared. Lift away every shadow that lingers. Replace every fear with courage, and surround them with angels who walk beside them day and night. Let peace settle where worry once lived. Let hope bloom where doubt once grew. And let your presence become the foundation upon which they stand. Hold them close, lead them gently, and awaken within them the destiny written in your love. Amen.